All right, guys, in this series, I'm going to teach you how to quit any addiction that you are going through, whether that's pornography or alcohol or some drugs, or even if social media or Netflix is finding you, then this is how you are going to do it. And it is called the STOP principle. This is what has helped over 100 guys that I've coached identify their issues and how to resolve them. And it's not only just identifying the trigger, but is going deeper into the heart, like what is actually going on in my heart. And what is the reason that I am now being drawn to go to this vice and self-sabotage? Ultimately, the reason why you're doing it, if you don't know, it's because you have an unmet desire. The moment you want to turn to alcohol or pornography, it is because you are seeking for something. You're seeking peace when you're stressed. You're seeking companionship when you're lonely. You're seeking freedom when you're stuck in some kind of area of your life. And so you can't resolve it, so you try to run away from it. This is how you're going to identify really what is going on. And so it's called the STOP principle. The STOP principle begins, first of all, with the situation. We want to assess the situation. So for example, there's a guy that I was coaching and he just had a newborn and the baby was waking up at nighttime and he was really tempted in the morning. And I told him, yes, partly it is because you probably didn't get a good night of rest. But I said, what was the thing that you wanted? And he said, you know what? I really wanted to sleep well because I had a lot to do that Monday to catch up on my business and serve my clients and get work done. And I couldn't do that because my kid was up at nighttime. And so I'm not rested. And so therefore we realized that's why he was tempted at 6 in the morning. It had nothing to do with him lacking sleep. It was that he had a desire. He really wanted to conquer that day and he wasn't able to do so because of the lack of sleep and the lack of energy and the lack of clarity. So that's the situation. So you also then want to move to the thought. What thoughts are you thinking? This sucks. What is the thought? Or my clients are not going to get good work, or I'm behind. What are the thoughts that you are thinking in your mind? And so those, because our thoughts are in direct correlation with our emotions. You know that in your mind, if you think about a tough situation that you can't overcome, you're going to experience an emotion called stress, and that physically is going to influence your body. So our thoughts have power. And so you're thinking something, and that thought is now leading to an emotion. It's always that we actually act out of our emotions. Our emotions lead to action, and that action is typically clicking on something, viewing something we shouldn't, picking up that beer that we shouldn't. But before the emotion, it was a thought. It was the mind that led you to have these emotions. So you got to ask yourself, you're wondering, you're thinking, all right, what is it? What are my thoughts that I am experiencing? The next step is to observe. And the idea here is simply just observe this whole situation. If you don't have a lot of insight and you're wondering why this is happening, and some guys that come to me even after a little bit of time, I identify what the issue is and they say, I don't think that's the issue. And then after about a month later, they say, okay, Dennis, you're right, that is the issue. What I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to toot my own horn. All I'm trying to say is that sometimes it's hard for you to notice it, so you really do need to observe. After you observe and you put all the puzzle pieces together, hey, my kid wasn't sleeping, I wanted to do this project, that was my unmet desire, I have this unmet desire chart. You can access it on school.com. It's through my free community called Integrity. It's going to be in the link below. You can go on there. I have a bunch of free resources similar to this, teaching you how to overcome vices in your life. After you figure out the situation, you check your mind. What thoughts were you having? You observe, you put the situation and the thoughts together, and what was that thing that I was wanting and I didn't get? Ultimately, it leads to you creating a plan of action. And I always say this, but you can know your temptations before the temptation occurs. At any time that I have, for example, a deadline where I will be stressed out, or any time that I feel like I'm being belittled or looked down upon, and I know for a lot of guys, these are your same issues. It's stress. It is a lack of respect. When you don't get those things, you want to go somewhere away from those or try to figure out where you can find them. But you got to create a plan of action. So the question is, okay, what am I going to do to prevent this next time? I can be aware of my triggers. I can be aware of my unmet desires. Next time I'll make a plan of action. I will not only be aware, but I'm actually going to journal my thoughts down on paper. That's what therapists are. People go and pay hundreds of dollars to a therapist who just sits there and listens to them. You could do that for free. Take a piece of paper and journal, write down your thoughts, and you're done. Now you close that loop. So you have an open loop in your mind. That open loop keeps turning. You need to close that loop. How do you close it? You put it down on paper. So this is all scientific stuff. So you could do that, whatever it is that's going to work for you. So this is the STOP method. This has helped many guys to identify what really is the root problem in their life and how they're able to overcome it. And so if you practice this and you do this for about a month, you take a calendar and you track Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? And then obviously Sunday. If you track when it's happening, you're going to start noticing that there are certain patterns. There's certain emotions that keep coming up. There's certain situations that keep coming up that cause you to go back to do the thing that you don't want to do. So you can then make a summary of, okay, this is typically the situation, this is typically what I'm feeling, and this is how I'm going to go about it next time so I don't find myself in this place once again. So there's a practical tip of how you can overcome the vice that you want to overcome in your life, whatever it may be. Hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below, but I'm going to be posting a lot of this kind of content online so that you can have success in your life and be able to walk in integrity so that you can make an impact in your life and in the life of others.